The old Roman principle, divide and conquer. And this, as a fractal, is ruling the entire system. So on every level you will find two positions virtually fighting each other and one head controlling it. And then you will find next to that one head another head, and they virtually are engaged in a fight for power. But you will find one head controlling them.
Yeah, like crypto is also created by them,
and
right?
Crypto is one fraction at one point of one head who created crypto, and he has a virtual enemy that wants to create a central bank digital currency that is inflationary versus the deflationary Bitcoin. And you will still have one entity on the top to control them both.
And what about then the gold currency that they're going to launch against the dollar currency to make the dollar obsolete? This is what they're... and then China taking full power. Like, this is the narrative they're going to go into, right?
The revolution of healthy living starts here. Feel the power of CMOS, Shilajit, black seed oil, and many more organic bio-based superfoods. Discover nature's strength with over 10 collections and 100 products to start living naturally. Unlock your wellness today at mymineral.com.
Yes, and we're live. Yet again, another podcast with Harald in the think tank. Give thanks, time to think, get awake and then enlightened. Give a like, subscribe, join the tribe, and feel the vibe, because we have an important guest. The one most important podcast you'll ever see, actually, right now. And yeah.
Don't overdo it.
But it's true. You actually, in my life, the only enlightened person I came across. There are many people online which are like the rescuers, which we talked about. And we have right now Trump in order, coming in, working with Elon Musk. And yeah, they are pretending to be the rescuers right now, and then people give a lot of prana to them. But I'm curious on your perception to what they're doing. And
you want to talk politics?
No, I'm not. Bit, yeah. Just from your perception, where these things are going and what we should do, actually, because it comes down to our responsibility, right?
Okay, what Trump?
Yeah, just curious. He's president now for 4 years, and yeah.
What Trump? Which one?
You mean there are different Trumps? Trump the president.
Definitely.
Really?
Variety. I mean, I've seen one Trump that looked like a Democrat puppet to disgrace whoever the other Trump is.
You mean like Biden? There are multiple Bidens in that way. You mean
multiple Bidens is not a secret. You just need to compare the ears.
Yes, indeed.
With Trump, I'm not exactly sure about the face, but the content differs from time to time. You know, if you look at stories told about the early Trump when he was still just a businessman, you get all sorts of stories. I mean, you have the ugly side, where he has sex with the underage ladies and dates porn stars and marries one of those beauty queens imported from Eastern Europe for political purposes by, what's the name of the guy? The one that is
Epstein,
that people say has committed suicide, which is definitely not the truth. Maybe he was suicided, but maybe he's just out there under a new name, enjoying life as a Mossad agent. You know, normally you do not get assassinated by friendly powers. They take out the picture from the public, that's it.
Yeah.
So we need to make a decision what to talk about. Shall we talk about the human that once was born under the name of Donald Trump, or shall we talk about the picture?
I want to talk about the fact that what you're saying right now is weird for me, because when I see the news, he is actually convicting people that do bad things with children. Trump,
is he?
Apparently.
Have you ever met someone that was convicted?
No, but this is what's happened.
Make the difference between what you see and what you know.
Okay. So that they then are portraying Trump that, oh yeah, he did very lots of good things, right?
I heard a couple of stories I actually do believe. This is about believing. I don't know.
That they're turning the way to the black magic. Trump, maybe. I'm just curious on your perception. That could be.
I believe stories like he was on a flight from A to B and meets a homeless woman and gives her $10,000. Because at certain points in his life, money did not matter much to him because he had more than he could use. And that there is this kind of impulse, savior impulse. I see a poor lady and give her money.
Yes.
Yeah? Or empower her to become something better. Or you get sorts of stories from him that I would say I believe. Not necessarily all of them must be true, because from a certain point you have spin doctors that create images. And if you have a good spin doctor, he might invent those stories, place them into the past, pay some people to spread the news, and then you're a good spin doctor. But spin doctor is an old concept. Spin doctors still relate to one real person. But we are far beyond that. So let's not talk about countries, like identifying countries as if a country is a person. It's complete. I can't even think that.
Yeah.
If there is any border, then there is the border between the people who know what they're doing and the people who don't know what's done to them. There, kind of, I can somehow draw a line, but even that line is not clear, because just knowing 3 types of chemtrail pilots, one is just after the money and knows he's spraying toxins and poisons. The other one thinks he's saving the planet from the climate. And the third one is kind of vulnerable to personal blackmailing. And he just follows orders, and it doesn't matter what he thinks, because he knows when he doesn't follow orders, he's a dead man walking. 3 different types of people with belief systems doing the same thing, having 3 different realities. So
okay,
this is a really weird field of perspectives that are not coherent at all. And when I think about politicians, I've got the CGI version of them that talk whatever is programmed into the screen to
from the black goo coming, or from the AI.
I guess spin doctors and think tank people, and then if a politician becomes nasty in the sense of he's speaking too much truth or is not following the official narrative anymore, you can easily replace him by an actor or with a face mask or by CGI, and make him state things so that the people who say, oh, this seems to be good, I'm going there, are disgusted by him again. Or you create a fake character that is saying all the right things, right? but doing something completely else.
Yeah,
afterwards.
like this is.
If I mean, there is a screen at the moment. Yeah. Oh no, there are two screens. One is the propaganda screen. If I talk from the German perspective now, we've got the evil Putin that started an aggressive war against Ukraine, and we need to save the poor Ukrainians from being annexed by Russia. Yeah? This is kind of the propaganda screen. And if you talk to people on the street, it's solid. Yeah?
Putin is bad.
Yeah,
and he's doing all the shit.
Yeah, and he started the war, he's doing all the shit, and we need to save the victim from the perpetrator. This is drama screen. Yeah? When you look a bit from a broader perspective, then we know that actually we had a coup in Ukraine a couple of years ago. CIA, Mossad-driven coup against a Russian-friendly president. We fucked.
Putin is Russian-friendly, you mean? No,
no, the president before Zelensky.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
He was Russian-friendly. Ukraine was
yeah.
Russian-friendly. There was no talk about joining NATO. There was no talk about placing American weapons closer to the Russian border. And this government was overthrown by foreign intervention on the Maidan, to put a CI5, CI6 puppet, a British agent, on the president seat of Ukraine. That took like 6-7 years to fool everyone, to create a propaganda machine that turned Ukraine into a fascist country hating Russians, to the day where he gave the order to go into the Russian-speaking republics, Donbass, and kill everyone. Putin waited to the day where this order to march in and kill everyone was given out. And then within one day he said, okay, I acknowledge the independency and I make a defense contract with the independent countries of the Donbass to fight off this invasion.
So they were gonna go in.
Full genocide of all Russian-speaking people. That was the order. It has been found on paper. Of course, it can be Russian propaganda. You never know. But look at how they behaved before. For 7-8 years, they bombarded civilian areas and killed how many? 30,000 Russian-speaking people by bombardment of. And nobody complained in the West. Nobody. Wasn't even mentioned in the West. Yeah? So Putin goes in to prevent a genocide against Russian-speaking population and makes a special military operation, because under legal contracts he is obliged to prevent a fascist government in Ukraine. Contracts signed with Ukraine after World War II. Because they fell for the bullshit before in World War II, being allies of the Nazis in Germany. So to avoid anything like that, when Ukraine was founded, they had contracts that if Ukraine would fall again for this bullshit, Russia is obliged to put an end to it. International contracts, international law. System set up as a post-World War II agenda to secure peace in Eastern Europe. This is why he called it a special military operation. Western media can't repeat often enough that we have an aggressive act of war from Russia. It's a simple lie. Russia is using the correct term. The rest is Western propaganda. Okay, looking at it from there. Then we have a NATO that is like a madman trying to cross one red line after the other by supporting Ukraine to continue the genocide in Donbass. delivering weapons, delivering long-range weapons to attack Russia with missiles, conquering bits and pieces of Russia in the Kursk area, attacking nuclear power plants, trying to create a nuclear holocaust, yeah, pushing one button after another. The West is silent about it in the media, says this is all to defend the victim from the perpetrator. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a different agenda. So you could, again, on the next screen, fall for the narrative that actually Russia is preserving the Christian heritage against the dark and evil occult Western elite, yeah, that is operating bioweapon labs in Ukraine and is into genocide and wants to start World War III. And heroic Russia is the last standing man preventing the complete...
But it was always like this, right?
No. We are into narratives. I didn't state a single true word till now. Just look at narratives. People make the mistake over and over again to identify with the narratives. There's no reason for it. A narrative is a narrative. Look at narratives encapsulated in each other, and then you start to understand what's happening. You don't get any help in judging, because from that point of view, it's not about judging.
You saw the picture with Putin, with Bush, with the president of China wearing their capes, and
yeah,
and we saw it, and then you see that maybe they're just working together with the Freemason Club.
Yeah, this is kind of the next level of narratives. You see the latest BRICS meeting where all the hope of the second narrative kind of is focusing on, will the BRICS finally put an end to the satanic one world rulership of the Western elites?
But they're the same of the same
and
bullshit.
what do you see there? Talking about climate change, following the World Health Organization orders, smiling into the face of Klaus Schwab with his World Economic Forum, and you realize...
And then giving a new financial system birth.
Yeah, apparently everyone is at some level in the same boat, and they're just making fool of us with all the different other narratives. Yeah. Does it stop there?
So Putin, they're just, they're making us...
My lady says, she's a very wise woman, look at the World Economic Forum and ask yourself, whom do you not see? And I go like, okay, whom did I not see there?
Musk.
No. Maybe Musk. I haven't seen Musk there, but he's not powerful enough. He's just owning a company.
Yeah. Okay. It's
a crap. He's rich as a private person.
But he's doing the transhumanistic robot. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah. He's definitely not the good guy. I mean, look at his mother. This is satanic as it can get. Look at him wearing the Baphomet on his chest in a red leather suit. Symbolism is talking for itself.
Okay.
So he's definitely not the savior I'm waiting for. Whom you don't see at the World Economic Forum are the Chinese.
I think I did, but no then? No? No?
Not in any...
Xi Jinping, not there?
Yeah,
I think I did saw him though.
He might be there, but they never say a word. They don't boast about anything. They don't bring in plans. They don't show any position, demand anything. The Chinese are completely silent on that plan. If you look behind it, you can get bits and pieces of history. Yeah, there was a time where the Western elites wanted to take over, and they made their plans to create a bioweapon that kills off 90% of the Asian population to get rid of that problem. And then the Asian population said, actually, we can do that as well. And if we are not participating in the power game, we will create a bioweapon that is going to kill 100% of all white people. So better be careful what you do. That was like an important step in between the secret societies, where victimizing Asia was ruled out by Asian groups of interest. And then they renegotiated things, and the Western elite made sure to stay in power. But what they sold is the center of power, was sold to be in Central Asia.
Yeah, which is
And this is something
all the
the
e-commerce
the Chinese accepted as a deal. Okay, now we're not killing you completely. You can stay in power as a secret society, but you're doing it from our grounds. And you can now see bits and pieces of that deal developing. Yeah, what definitely needs to be done: America needs to be destroyed, Europe needs to be deindustrialized and destroyed.
deindustrialized
Yes.
and destroyed also. So the
Yes.
euro is getting, and the dollar, they're gonna crash. Huh?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the.
This is dollar is going to crash in any case. Just look at
When
the-
do you know? Feel or
Whenever they decide to.
it still is in power
keep
with.
they keep it alive in a very artificial way.
Yes, they
Yeah.
keep on printing it, and it's just
They just control the narrative, so they decide when they kill the narrative.
yeah. Yeah.
And all the other things you would expect them to matter, but somehow they don't.
And what about the robots and the AI and the automation connected to then crypto as a new economy where, you know, everything is connected to algorithms, and then they want to buy, they make us buy things before we know it, you know, like
It's like a fractal. You will always have a head and two arms that virtually fight each other. Yeah, it's the old Roman principle: divide and conquer.
yeah.
And this, as a fractal, is ruling the entire system. So on every level you will find two positions virtually fighting each other and one head controlling it. And then you will find next to that one head another head, and they virtually are engaged in a fight for power. But you will find one head controlling them.
Yeah, like crypto is also created by them,
And
right?
crypto is one fraction at one point of one head who created crypto, and he has a virtual enemy that wants to create a central bank digital currency that is inflationary versus the deflationary Bitcoin. And you will still have one entity on the top to control them both.
And what about then the gold currency that they're going to launch against the dollar currency to make the dollar obsolete? This is what they're... and then China taking full power. Like, this is the narrative they're going to go into, right?
Yeah, whatever. You create systems that stand in opposition to absorb the intention of the humans into duality games. Gold is good, inflationary bank currencies, fiat money is bad, so let me be a gold man and fight the fiat money. Adventure, Luciferian games, endless playgrounds for Luciferian games. And
makes no sense to... It's totally missing the divine. Or it's about property. It's about...
I don't have the time to go to the movies, but if I would have, I would still like to go to the movies. Because adventurous stuff is adventurous stuff. Same thing is applied on reality, or what we think reality is. So we live in an adventurous world, let it be.
Mm.
Yeah. You can have fun identifying with one or the other side. At one point, your soul might get tired of it and start to look for the bigger picture. And then you realize, oh, this is scary. This is a rabbit hole of bigger and bigger and bigger and even bigger pictures. And at the end of the day, the very basics of the way you perceive things is already a manipulated crap. And you need to completely step back and say, wow.
What the hell is this?
What a design.
Yeah, like, maybe you want to add something, or?
No.
Like, for example, Mr. Elon Musk, he created PayPal Mafia. Their vision was apparently something looks exactly like Bitcoin. But then you talk about Elon Musk and his mom, and also you see him doing all these weird things in the sky and sending these rockets there. And when I do my research, I see there is waters above. We are living in a class dome, or in a closed system, like they also show in The Simpsons. But then when I let you talk about it, or another podcast, you talk about, depending on your genetics, we are in a solar system, or in space. You can go out, you can go in, but what if there is waters above? I'm just curious on your perception. What he is doing, Elon Musk, and two, where are we living in? What type of reality now?
Different topic. We can go there if you want.
Yeah.
Enough of politics?
Yeah, indeed. For me, this is just the game, and I think for the viewer also, it's very...
Maybe for the politic game, what I would really like to see, if people would start to step out of their drama perspectives and simply call things by their name. Genocide is genocide. An act of war is an act of war, a violation of international law, even if I don't give a damn about international law, I love cosmic law, but a violation of international law is a violation of international law. Terrorism is terrorism. If it's state-run, it's state terrorism. Yeah.
So you look at what they do, not what they say.
Yeah, start looking at what they really do. Yeah. Who killed how many people? And it's enough to ask you this question, if you find an answer, to get a clearer picture. You know, everyone is, in Germany, we were kind of bowing down to the day when Hamas attacked Israel, killing 1,000 people. How many, was it 1,000?
I don't know.
I think 1,000. Yeah. Half of them were killed by IDF fire from helicopters, because they just saw some terrorists in the middle of the festival and they started to slaughter the entire festival to create as many victims as possible. Officially, it is for not allowing them to take hostages. It's better to kill your own citizen than to allow someone to take him hostage. This is the official doctrine. It's bad enough.
Yeah.
The unofficial one is, let's create as many victims as possible so that we, as long as possible, can be the perpetrator and depopulate the Gaza Strip, still being identified as a victim. So let's look on that side. What did the Palestinian people from Gaza do? They were used to military forces entering Gaza, taking people, arresting people without court case, taking them into Jewish prisons, holding them for as long as they wanted to, torturing them. Yeah? This is normal life for Palestinians.
Fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah. Saying, okay, now we cross the border and take some Israeli people hostage. How do you call it? Tit for toe?
Yeah, like this for that, you mean?
This for that. You pay back in the same currency. This, under international law, is how people prevent wars from escalating. If someone misbehaves and doesn't realize what type of shit he's doing, you pay it back to him to make him realize that this is painful. This is, in a way, de-escalating human loving consciousness. If you want to see the act of Hamas attacking Israel under that, they didn't go in to kill as many people as possible. They primarily attacked military targets, not civilian ones. Primary military ones. And the big massacres happened when the helicopters were shooting people on the festival, and they went into one kibbutz, and they just
Killed.
pulverized the buildings with machine gun fire, with all the Jewish people inside. This is what cost the most Israeli victims with it, this Hamas attack. Yeah. And of course, there was an attacking of military targets, and there was fighting to take hostages, and whoever resisted and was armed to shoot back. Yeah? This is kind of the other 500 that got killed. Don't ask how many Palestinians got killed in Gaza before.
And now they're doing a full genocide there, actually. They're taking over everything.
And now it's difficult to get numbers. Official numbers are at close to 60,000. Good percentage, the last thing I heard was like more than 30% of all buildings turned into rubble. Nobody knows how many dead people lie under the rubble, because they didn't even have time to remove it. Yeah? And you get statements from the United Nations that, oh, what a miracle, we always thought Gaza is overpopulated. We counted people, and apparently there are 200,000 people less living in Gaza than we expected. This is actually the only number I trust. So we have a genocide of 200,000 people, mostly bombing schools, kindergartens, hospitals, civilian areas, refugee camps. And that's it. Fighting Hamas.
Yeah, and Hamas is actually created by
Israel. Yeah, they
by
paid
themselves.
For Hamas. They paid for Hamas because they wanted to have a counterweight to Fatah in the West Bank, to make sure that West Bank and Gaza never unite to a state. This is why Hamas was created by Israel. Divide and conquer.
Create the problem, wait for the reaction, come in with the solution.
Yeah. Same games all over the place, and people still fall for it, which is kind of sad.
This is the satanic game also somewhere, the drama is the... Yeah.
But who do you want to blame for it? The one orchestrating it, he's falling for it on a different plane. And the only thing you can say, am I participating? Do I identify with those drama narratives? Or can I keep kind of a heartful and wise overview and name things by the name they deserve to be named? Yeah, and stay out of identifications. And calmly tell the Jewish people and representatives, you're committing suicide. Not suicide, yeah, that's
genocide.
Genocide.
Yeah.
You're a racist country because you put the Jewish tribe over the Arab tribes, thinking that they are supposed to rule the other ones. You say the lives of them are worth much less than your lives are worth. And you commit genocide systematically. You deprive them from their land. You deprive them from their resources. You turn the entire West Bank in a huge grid of ghettos. Yeah? And the biggest ghetto you created is now bombed to ash. When it started, my first insight was, this is actually a repetition of the story of the ghetto of Warsaw in Poland.
Warsaw.
Because it was a ghetto, it was encapsulating the Jewish population of the Polish capital, and it was left for self-organization It were Jewish people ruling the ghetto, and the life in there was not good. There were a few rich people having the resources, and the masses were basically starving. But they were allowed to self-organize. And at a certain point, the Germans decided to put an end to this and to deport the ghetto people to camps. And this is where the fighting started. And it ended after the ghetto was rubble. They kept fighting another, 7 weeks after everything was down to the ground, and only the basements were still connected with tunnels. And the Jewish resistance continued in the tunnels under the rubble. And a couple of years later, every single German city looked like that ghetto. Because karma is a bitch. And this is what I instantly saw when they started bombing Gaza. I realized Tel Aviv is going to look like that, Jerusalem is going to look like that, Haifa is going to look like that. This is what is going on. What do you do now? And the longer you do it, the harder it's going to strike back.
Karmi.
And this is what's going to happen, and you can see it unfolding, because one ally after another is breaking away.
They're even suing right now in Netherlands him, Netanyahu. So it's coming.
International Court of whatever.
Yeah.
Is not even suing him. He has
They're gonna
his judgment.
put him in jail.
If he shows up somewhere, he can be arrested. And luckily, the Palestinian counterpart is dead, so he can't be arrested anymore. They made a wise move to keep it balanced, to judge the Hamas leader as well for the attack on Israel. It was kind of, okay, we are neutral, but still we name genocide as genocide, which is a good move. And still name it, but stay out of the drama. And this is, from all perspectives, the best things you can do. Because if I'm triggered by what I see, I take side. And if I take side, I push my opponent into resistance, and I strengthen his position. If I start to scream at the Jews doing this, they will hate me and feel even more righteous in what they do, because they're going to be cornered even more. They already feel cornered. So if I open my mouth in anger, in triggered anger, I'm doing the war a favor. If I just calmly say, actually, Judaism is the first racist ideology of the world, and the oldest one. It managed to survive for millennia as a racist ideology. And now it's running a racist apartheid regime that is humiliating, torturing, and killing other races and other tribes just because they feel superior, and they spit into their faces because they don't regard them as worthy. This is what it is.
And the game is unity consciousness, or unity, love, heart-based living.
I can also acknowledge that it's a pendulum. If you are caught in that way, you sit on the perpetrator-victim pendulum. It goes commit genocide, suffer genocide, commit genocide, suffer genocide. And when you commit genocide, you still identify as the victim. And when it kicks back, what do? You are the victim, and then you can absorb more victim energy. And then you go back to the other end and you commit genocide while still being identified with the victim. And this is how it goes, pendulum.
Until we just stop it, right?
Until you crawl up the axis and sit on the axis and see the pendulum underneath you doing what it's doing. Then you're out. not when you fight one or the other side. This is not how it works. You need to crawl out and inspire other people to crawl out again. And then it's losing weight. And when it's losing weight, it's losing momentum. This is the only thing you can do.
And you get out when you're, for example, in Gaza. You can't get out. You need to get the victim, or you need to get smashed and killed in a new lifetime to then get out there. Or a lot of people, they're just in vain, you know. When I see you talking about what's happening.
What's happening in Gaza is very non-linear. It's not like it's one atomic bomb on the head of everyone. It's like they say, we're going to bomb this quarter and you can get out. If you get the message early enough, you can move somewhere else. The question if you starve or get food, this is all non-linear interaction. And if someone in Gaza is in unity consciousness, I'm pretty sure he's alive today. And he will be okay because he's not involved in drama. Personally, he can look at
he's not attracting it.
He's not attracting it.
Even in Gaza.
Even in Gaza, you can survive. I mean, it's 90% of the population that is still alive. Even if you take the high number, 200,000, 90% is still alive. Alive and kicking, and either they're still waiting to get killed, getting involved into drama games, or to make perpetrator experience, killing, bombing, and destroying Israeli Merkava tanks. Beautiful game, you know, how heroic. YouTube is full of it. Every single tank they crack is like the new blockbuster on YouTube. And you go there and you celebrate it, not thinking about the soldiers who burn inside. This is how it works. Identify with the drama, and you are subject to the drama. And the only thing you can't control is when you shift positions, because this is done by the internal forces of the narrative, shifting you where it needs you. But the choice to participate in drama is yours. And if you just observe it, name things what they are, and do not identify with the narrative, and do not identify by taking sides, you're neutral, and the universe will spare you, definitely.
Okay.
You can see it very much in personal stories of who survives and who is instantly destroyed. Whenever someone is instantly destroyed, just look at his last deeds and you will see him identifying as the savior, as the hero. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Look at, for example, I mean, this was funny because I had the opportunity to give him a last warning. Look at Rainer Füllmich, this German-rooted lawyer that worked in the United States and went to court to show how fraudulent and evil the COVID-19 agenda was. And we had, when he was in Mexico, actually, he was not allowed into the US, he was not allowed into Germany. So he had a hiding place in Mexico. And we did an interview where I tried to explain him how drama interaction works. Because he still was taking that point, I as a lawyer, can be the hero who brings justice to the people. And I just told him, you know, this is not how you do it. Defeat duality within yourself, acknowledge your own darkness, then it turns into light, and then the material plane that is a mirror of yourself will not be able to mirror you any darkness anymore. This is how you get rid of darkness out there. Not by fighting it, not by opposing it, you strengthen it. And I told him, if you continue like this, you'll be victimized. And three weeks later, they abducted him from Mexico, German authorities, and for 1 year now he's in German prison. Is dragged to court in handcuffs, forced to kneel down, like a terrorist, not even unhandcuffing him in the courtroom. Single room prison, not allowed to talk to anyone.
Oh. Just by drama interactions.
Just because he volunteered to participate in that drama. I tried to warn him. It was like on the brink of getting it in this interview. It's still online. It's a beautiful talk. Because you could see him being tempted by unity consciousness. And then being pulled back into the drama again. And then being tempted. And he was like on the brink of focusing on the rights of indigenous people in New Zealand who want to break free from national law to come back to natural law in their tribal culture and establish that as the ruling system. And I told him, this is exactly it. Pick up that energy. Unite with them if you want to do something. Yeah?
This is the right way to do, you say.
For him, this was for him the exit window offered by the universe.
To
100% focus on I'm leaving the satanic jurisdiction drama, and I take the step into unity consciousness, fighting for or speaking out for allowing people to step back into natural cosmic law as the only ruling principle.
This is the way to go then, right? Where we go to nature, work with nature, use the natural laws,
it's nothing,
as a unity consciousness.
It's nothing you need to do, because it is done on its own. It's always active. Even if you what you can do, where it starts with doing things, is if you don't like the cosmic law, if you think you can steal and get away with it, then you will steal in a way that is legal. And you create the illusion that you're not vulnerable to it. Cosmic law is not falling for cheap tricks. It will bring you in a position where someone steals from you in a completely legal way, and you're going to lose everything just to make the experience how it feels like. This is karmic law. It works whatever you do. You can't break it. But you can create for yourself a delusion of creating rules that enough people follow to get away from the cosmic law. So we try to replace it by our own laws, not for the purpose of justice. There's no need for it. Just for the purpose of control and for the purpose of getting away with it. It is the exact opposite of what it seems to be. Yeah? People say they need laws and police and courtyards and jails to protect people from the evil. No, they need it to get away with evil.
So they can still do it, but...
Yeah, under the legal cover. And look at that world. I mean, how many evil is done by criminals and how much evil is done in the name of law?
And what about then us creating the natural law, being creative, creating our own system as
No, why would you create anything? It's in place in any case. You devote yourself to it. And then you lose the resonance with the man-made law.
I mean, like buying a plot of land, working as a community in there, just going out of the drama in that way. to not be part of all these
No,
things.
You're still too deep in it. If you think that what you need now is a plot of land, you already limit yourself by saying buying a plot of land, because this is according to the system what you do to get a plot of land. Yeah? Why don't you get to know a grandma that has no children, that owns a huge lot of land which she cannot use anymore because she's old, and you just meet her and you have that beautiful smile on your face, and she loves your smile and she sees in you the one who is going to take care of her lot of land until she dies. You don't need to buy it.
No, you have to find someone.
Cosmic law is inventive to the bone. You need something, it's provided.
Yeah.
And
amen.
and this, we have the two machineries, like the legal part is like how do you call the wheels with the teeth that go, it's direct enforcement. And the monetary part is like with chains, and the money are the chains. And you completely interlink things which each other so that they can be controlled by a central entity. And we think this is to achieve justice. But what type of justice is it when 11 families own 95% of the industrial power? Yeah? What type of justice is it when 3/4 do not have healthy conditions to live, while 1/4 is wasting all the resources of the planet? What justice is in it? None.
It's crazy.
The injustice is possible because we run a system and we obey to a system that is created for the only purpose to be capable of controlling things. This is the only truth. And stepping out doesn't mean fighting it. Stepping out means stopping to take it serious. I don't care whether it's gold or inflationary fiat currency or Bitcoin, or when I need something, I trust the universe, it comes to me on one or the other way. And whether I have something or I don't, it's not a difference. Because at the end of the day is the question, do I have a roof on top of my head? Is my bed warm and cozy? Do I have something to eat? And who provides the food and the bed and the shelter? It's none of my business. I can move freely if I get the resources to move freely, but I'm not even identified with the resources. I do have plenty of resources at the moment because the universe was more than kind to me. And when this came in, it didn't change a thing. Last week, I decided I need to buy a new pair of jeans because the last pair I had was falling to bits and pieces. And it was just a waste of time to go to the town shopping. I wanted to do other things in the time I had. I was annoyed by the necessity to go shopping. But there was no way around at that point, because some of the things you do, you don't want to do in Nikes and training pants.
Mm.
With the one pair of shoes I have left. When they're done, I'll buy another pair.
Maybe better than high vibrational clothes like hemp, you know, if you can find them.
It's okay. I mean,
or not polyester.
When I buy something, I would rather buy something of high quality to save the time to need to buy something new when it falls apart after a week.
Yeah. Right.
And the speed of things falling apart is a joke. In the 50s, a washing machine operated 50 years. Nowadays, it's 2 years. Oh, what a technological advance. I just...
It's this how this economy works, right? Where they just...
I made a mistake. I thought I was buying a leather belt because it looked so real, but it was fake leather. Guess how long it stayed in one piece? 1 week. A belt. What a waste of resources. And they only do it because this is economy.
And money.
Population is not allowed to grow anymore because we reached limits in the space we have in most of the countries. They still want to earn interest rates. And when you harvest interest rates, you deprive liquidity from the market. And if you deprive liquidity, you push the economy into recession. So you need some mechanism to replace the money you deprive with the new money. And this is why we need growth. And when you don't create growth by having more people buying more goods, the only way to reach it is make people buy goods more often. So for the last 20 years, growth was created by shortening the lifespan of things.
But this is taking more out of the earth, destroying the earth more. Yeah.
It's complete
So
destruction.
this is then where we have to also stop when it comes down to this antidote of
you do not,
ourselves.
You do not need a high IQ to understand this. It's common knowledge. Everyone that takes 1 day of research into monetary systems can find how it works.
And how we,
And looking into the daily life experience shows you how ugly it is when your washing machine falls apart after, like 3 days after the warranty, after 2 years goes out. 2 days later, washing machine gone. Ask my brother. He studied engineering. And half of the things he had to learn is to make sure that parts break after a defined amount of time or working hours. This is what you learn at university, to make sure things fall apart.
So that's where we need to stop going and invest the money into the quality and into the real stuff, but also not invest into money. But like you say, we have to stop the black magic money Babylon shit.
This is it. When you want to let go of the growth concept, you need to let go of interest rates. Then you need to let go of the private run banking system. We used to have state run banking system. It was just a much more elegant way to harvest taxes. The state was creating the money, it was lending it to the people when they needed it to start a business. When it was lost, no big deal. And if it came back with interest rate, the state harvested money from the people, from their success. Beautiful system. Since 1911, we have that rush to replace the state-run banking system by the private banking system, starting with the Federal Reserve in
United States,
in New York.
Yeah.
And since then we have endless wars against those countries who refused to join the club.
Yeah.
This is very simple understanding history. Libya, Iraq, Iran, Syria.
Yeah, they wanted to then create a gold-backed currency or something different other than what they're doing. But we're all in this system, and now they're going to then launch these central bank digital currencies with a digital ID, and this is
enhancing the control aspects of the monetary system. Because they're in the chain, when you do not have direct control, but you have a chain, there's too much freedom in it for them. that you take your money and buy whatever you want. Control freaks can't take that.
So where do we go from here as saving the world from the self-destruction and this system we're all living in now? Whole world is attached.
It always comes to your own perception of things. If you want to save the world, you join the drama. If you want to clarify your own position, you start to realize what funny game you're in, and it's not that you can stop playing it because you need to get food if you're hungry.
Yeah, biofood needs a lot of money also.
There's no point in rejecting the system. The thing is, it is one internal step you take. You can place your heart in abundance. You can detach from scarcity. You can detach from the concept of I need to serve to get money to make others serve me. And you can go back to I'm a gift. I am a gift from the universe. By that gift I am gifted. And whatever I'm capable of doing, I do it out of love and share it. And I trust the universe because I'm doing this out of love. I'm carrying things out of love. I'm doing things out of love because this is my thing to do. This is my gift to share. Other people who share gifts will share with you. Law of resonance. And then you drop out of scarcity into abundance with your life. And this is not that you stop using money. You can get a gift in form of cash or bitcoins or gold or silver or land. There are many ways to get gifts.
It's usable, so yeah.
But stop controlling the process. This is because the control of the process, like going to earn money to be able to spend it, this is an act of control on your end. And this act of control brings you into scarcity. And for the society, it is kind of self-referent. If many people think there's not enough and grab and hold everything they can grab and hold, just in case they need it one day.
This is what they say, you gotta save your money. Everyone programmed like this.
They control and deplete the resources, which means in reality there is nothing left for others. If everyone owns his house and someone comes in from outside, it's not that he just can live in a house that is free. He will end up on the street. And this experience is strengthening the fear to fall into scarcity. The reason is not that there's not enough. The reason is that people are afraid of scarcity, so that they grab and hold and create scarcity. Self-referent. And the same quality of self-reference also works in the mirrored system. If people realize, oh, everything is here in abundance, so there's no need to hold on to something. Not on my gifts, not on my talents, not on my time. Yeah? I just give free what I have to share. This creates abundance, and it will create in others the trust in abundance because they experience that it exists, and then they will gather their courage to let go of themselves, and there will be more abundance. Turning this way around or turning that way around. It's in both principles are self-strengthening and self-referent, and like the funny cartoon with the difference between heaven and hell. Hell is kind of people sitting around a pot of hot soup. Everyone has a spoon in his hand, but they're chained to their seats so that with a spoon They can't reach the soup and they can't reach the mouth
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's too long.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So they sit with a spoon in front of the hot soup and starve. This is hell.
Yeah.
And heaven is exactly the same place with people feeding each other.
Oh. Yeah, I've seen this somewhere at some point in my life, but it makes total sense. And then use Mother Nature with full abundance. Because that's there. It's always growing. It's always creating.
Yeah. I mean, one step into abundance is edible wild plants. Get a book, learn it by heart, and you live in a completely different universe. 90% of what's out there is edible.
And you know so much actually on so many different topics. How do you develop yourself or learn by yourself or did this by yourself? Or it's the only meditation, knowing it by that way. Or which are the people that you follow then, if that makes sense? Not like no, also not.
I don't like to follow. I don't want anyone to follow me. It's not in that sense.
But you learn it through something, someone, or
You know, I like that metaphor of the starving man and the one who wants to help, and you can give the starving man a fish.
yeah,
This creates a codependency. When the fish is done, he will be the starving man again. Yeah, you can give him a fishing rod.
yeah.
Yeah, he will survive until the fishing rod is broken, and then he's doomed again. You can teach him how to build a fishing rod.
This is what.
It takes a lot of effort. You deprive yourself from your resources,
And
time-wise
time
and
and-
material-wise. You make sure the other one survives, and by the end of the day, you starve.
No, you make the fish together then.
But you can also tell him, you know what? I'm in the mood to build myself a fishing rod today. Want to join me?
Yeah, I want.
Yeah. And then you go and you build yourself a fishing rod, and you have him next to you watching every single step. And if he's clever enough and loves himself enough, he's going to build himself one next day. And you haven't wasted your resources. You're the proud owner of a self-made fishing rod. And the other guy is
Observe,
just fine.
yeah.
He's just fine. And he's still proud of himself. And this is a really underestimated thing. I fell for this one very badly. Yeah? I met a lot of people who got themselves into deep shit. Yeah? And I just looked at them and said, you know, being at that point where you are can't get much uglier. Yeah? So I don't mind. I've got place at my place if you want to pop over. Yeah? I've got a room. Yeah? You can eat at my table until you have sorted your finances. And then we see further.
Oh,
I liked the company. I had enough to share so that it didn't diminish my quality of living. So I had like at times 2 guests of that sort living at my place. Then at a certain point it was too much, so I was looking.
as a rescuer, it didn't give drama then, or
No.
No.
At that time there was no drama. Then I thought, okay, it's getting a bit dense at my place with too many people, because there were other guests coming in, and then we didn't have spare room for guest beds because the guest beds were permanently occupied. And then it was clear, okay, we need a solution for one or the other. And I was looking for a flat to hire, to rent, but there was none at that point. So, I mean, this is also a beautiful story for how abundance works, but there was a house that was empty for 15 years. And the front part of the roof, one share was with concrete tiles and they were rotten, and it was raining in. And you could see the ceiling dripping on the wooden floor when you looked into the windows. And I just realized if nobody takes care of that roof, this house is going to be done in 2 or 3 years. Yeah? With the wooden beams or the ceiling rotting, and then it all crumbles together and falls apart. So I found out whom this house belongs to. It was an old lady living on the other end of Germany. She was born in that house. She inherited it at a certain point, but she made no use of it. But she loved it because it was her place of birth. But she didn't have the capacities to take care of it. And she wanted to sell it multiple times, and people just said, oh, this is so ugly, this is so rotten, trying to push the price down. And she always said, they don't value my place of birth. I can't give it to them. Just a heartful old lady.
Yeah.
And I just gave her a call, not hoping for anything. I just was in shock about this roof. And I told her, I'm living in the village you were born, and I see this house falling to bits and pieces. Do you allow me to go in and fix the roof for you? I don't want money for it. I just feel it's a pity that this falls apart. That was my honest reflex in that moment. And she started crying, and she said, you're the first one that loves and honors this house for decades. I would like to give it to you. If you can afford, I would like to give it to you for 3,000 euros. Just to have a little amount to be able to make a contract that someone takes serious. It's with close to 4,000 square meters of building ground to it.
Wow.
Just the ground is worth 10 times.
Yeah.
And then we had a building for the guy that was too much in my place. And I told him, move in.
Chill in.
Let's do like 1 month of shared work to get the worst repair things done. Doing the roof first. I donated the tiles from my resources. And we needed to take all the rubbish out of the garden. It was like 4 containers of rubbish. And then he did the water supply, because this was his profession, laying pipes. And the sewage system, that needed to be completely redone. I invested like 30,000 into the building. And I told the guy, go do the painting job, do the floors however you like it, make this home beautiful for yourself, and you can stay in it. And my kids will be happy, one day you will move on, I'm sure, but you can stay as long as you want. And he was so kind of captured in his scarcity that he could not work on the house with the feeling he's doing it not for himself. And whatever he tried, he could not discipline himself. And he at one point he was sleeping on the roof, with mosquitoes and cold air at night and hot air over the day. He moved into the attic with no insulation, just to torture himself, to force himself to start renovating the ground floor. And he didn't make it. And then he started to run around in the village saying what a bastard I am, making him sleep on the roof. Complete projection of his own disability. And then he moved out overnight and declared himself being my enemy.
Wow, yeah.
And then I gave the house to the other one. That was my guess, because he found a lady he liked and they wanted to move in together and have children. So I made a contract that is really a joke of a contract. Like, I invested 30,000, so I would like to have my investment back. The gift I got, I'm forwarding. And you can pay this over the next 10 years. So you end up with like 300 euros per month.
Yeah.
Which
easy.
is half of the rent.
Yeah.
For
and then getting the house.
And after 10 years, it's his. I just said, I don't have the capacities to to take care of the building. So I feel better when it's yours. And I wanted him to take responsibility. If you give too much of a gift, people stop honoring it. So I did not want to deprive myself of things, to push too much in this. And he went like, if I would have the resources you have, I would give all of my friends 50,000 cash on their hand. Why don't you give me? I tested him. I said, oh, you've got so beautiful pepperonis in your garden. Because he had the most fertile ground in the village, in the backyard. And everything was growing like hell. And the question was, can someone have a pepperoni from him? No, those are mine. And at the end of the day, he basically called in the other guy that failed first on that building to beat me up as my enemy. And,
Duality consciousness.
And this is why I say sharing is an art. If you want to share in abundance, you need to make sure that the one who takes in gratitude. If he takes in greed, it doesn't work, because underneath the greed you humiliate his soul. And his soul will only record the humiliation. He will feel and act as if you hurt him deeply. And either it's coming in weird projections, like all the rent I took from him over the years, for the room he lived in. We had a deal at the beginning. You come, you help me on the farm, and you live for free. Food and accommodations just included in the service. Just help me a little bit with the buildings. And he kept smoking his weed in front of the oven all day and didn't move a single finger. So at some point I said, you don't honor the agreement. Then I think it's about time to say, I would like to have a little rent for the room you use and for the electricity and the food you eat. Just participate in financing this paradise as everyone else does as well. And it forced him to pick up a job. I've never seen him as happy as in those days. Finally, he made a good job. He was a carpenter, and he found a company doing the interior design for cruise ships, for the cabins. This is high quality stuff. Beautiful job as a carpenter. He drove every second day to do shifts in that factory, and I've never seen him that happy. And I realized, wow, that was a good decision to deprive him from the everything is free service. And then he starts complaining, like how much rent did you charge from me in the last years? And if I would be you, I would have given me 50,000 cash on the hand. And this accelerated itself to the point of getting criminal behavior. This is why I prolonged that fishing rod metaphor a little bit. The less you do, the more you empower, or you allow people to empower themselves.
Yes. And you then do it in front of them also, where they can do it themselves.
Actually, they can look for the experience even themselves.
Yeah.
If someone wants to learn how to build a fishing rod, he can fucking move his ass to a place where fishing rods are built.
Yeah. And YouTube is full of content where you can do whatever you want and learn whatever you want.
YouTube.
Yeah. This is where technology can be good, but still, yeah. Yes, this was good for a good view on all the world topics and actually getting your responsibility together and do whatever you want with it in the right heart-based way.
Maybe to summarize, the narratives come as a screen, and this screen is always gluey and sticky and magnetic. If you don't watch out, you're attracted by the screen, and you bump into it, and you get glued to the material plane by identification with what's happening here. And this is not being yourself. This is getting lost in the projection of yourself. And the healthy thing is being identified with the observer of the screen, without any judgment, just looking at things, how they develop, and who does what for what reason. And when you don't judge the reasons and you don't prejudge the deeds, then you could just generate a very elaborated understanding of how narratives work. And the more you learn about that, the less addictive the screen gets.
Yeah. Makes total sense. And then do the right thing from there. Thank you, Harald.
You're welcome.
The revolution of healthy living starts here. Feel the power of CMOS, shilajit, black seed oil, and many more organic bio-based superfoods. Discover nature's strength with over 10 collections and 100 products to start living naturally. Unlock your wellness today at mymineral.com.